It has been a long time since I was introduced to the Zelda series. My first experience with Ocarina of Time was almost 20 years ago by this point. I have grown up with the franchise, and it seems that every new installment comes out at a drastically different period in my life. Since the release of Skyward Sword, I have since graduated from college and am currently enrolled in graduate school. To put it into perspective, I started playing these games when I was in kindergarten. It is either insane or just goes to show how great the Zelda series really is. The release of the Wii U marked the first time that I did not have the most current Nintendo system. During the entire lifespan of the console, I waited to see if a new Zelda game would eventually be released. There always seems to be at least one Zelda game for every new Nintendo console. It was no shock to see one finally announced, and given my experience with the series, it was also not surprising to see the game get delayed over and over again. Nintendo did have a solid attempt to mitigate the wait though. The Wind Waker update was great and the Twilight Princess remaster was cool, but there was nothing to get me to commit to a Wii U. It also did not help that the Wii U was not exactly selling well, and I was wary of committing to a console that might be quickly tossed aside. Only a new Zelda game would get me to commit, and that was only on the condition that there would be a definite release date. So I continued to wait, and banished the thought of a Wii U Zelda from my mind. It took another year before the fandom received any solid information about the game, but when they did, it caught everyone by surprise.
Wake up, Link.
I got my first look at The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild during last year's E3 conference. The trailer opened up with Zelda's voice. That was the first indication that this game would be different from the rest. Voice acting in a Zelda game? It was an exciting concept, but it managed to get even better. Gameplay showing Link traversing a gigantic landscape brought back my childhood memories of experiencing Hyrule Field for the first time in Ocarina of Time. Then the trailer progressed even further and somehow continued to get better. Link was shown combating a variety of enemies with a multitude of different weapons that reminded me of my experiences with Wind Waker. This initial trailer also showcased just a hint of story, with an epic shot of a rusted Master Sword in its pedestal. Then, to my surprise, Nintendo proceeded to showcase hours of live footage of the game. Looking at this gameplay presentation, it was obvious that this was gearing up to be the most expansive Zelda game in the series so far. It seemed that the game took all the strengths of the previous games and built upon them in an open world setting. I was hyped, but there was still no release date. The only news about a release involved rumors of Nintendo's new console and yet another delay to 2017.
Hello, everyone. I'm Tatsumi Kimishima from Nintendo.
About half a year after E3, I was sitting in my apartment, bored out of my mind. I was browsing the internet when I saw a live thread on Reddit detailing Nintendo's official announcement of their newest console. With nothing better to do, I decided to watch and see what Nintendo had to offer. The Switch seemed mildly interesting with its emphasis on portability, but no games were inducing me to purchase it. However, Nintendo had a trump card and ended the conference with one of the best video game trailers in recent memory. While the E3 trailer focused on gameplay, this trailer was mostly about creating ambiance and showcasing a bit of the story. Up until this trailer, the most in-depth Zelda story had belonged to Skyward Sword. Just based on this alone, it was apparent that Nintendo is taking Zelda to a new level in terms of plot. The trailer showcased various scenes of a bloody Link escaping with Princess Zelda. At one point, Zelda cries and collapses into his arms. The voice acting made this a much more cinematic moment. The trailer was epic. The game looked epic. It felt like the culmination of a lifetime of hype as I continued to watch. One of the final shots showcased a battered Link, struggling to stand up one more time to defend Hyrule. Then it was over, and the magic words were showcased on the screen. The game was going to be a launch title for the Nintendo Switch, and was coming out in March. With that release date in my mind, I quickly went to Amazon and camped out for 2 hours in order to pre-order my new console and my new Zelda game. Nintendo finally got me to commit to a new console with a game from a series that I've been playing for almost 20 years. The sense of adventure and wonderment from the Zelda series always seems to persist despite my transition into adulthood. Every time I open a new Zelda game, that same feeling comes back from when I was a child playing Ocarina of Time. From elementary school to graduate school, It's crazy to think about enjoying something for the bulk of my life thus far. It's been a long time since I was this excited to play a video game. Much like Link, I'm always ready for a new adventure, and that's what the Zelda series promises to everyone. Shigeru Miyamoto initially created the series off of a simple idea. He wanted a game to capture the same sense of adventure that he experienced while he was a kid. I think he was successful in this regard. Millions of people have grown to love these games for the sense of adventure they created in their audience. It's amazing to think that for some, Breath of the Wild would be their first Zelda game. Some might even be the same age as I was when I started playing the series for the first time. Given my experience, these first-timers will not be disappointed, and I hope they can become fans for life just like I did. Here's to another 20 years of fandom, kicked off by Breath of the Wild, and to those that are experiencing the series for the first time on March 3rd, welcome to the fandom.